Okay, but let me go live now to the Flagstaff Square where that event is happening. The anniversary of the 31st, rather 35th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution. On your screens right now is a ceremony underway. You see the men, of course, some of the cadets doing their thing right now on our screens. You can see that right now on the screen. The wreath have been laid already, and the speeches will begin very shortly. We understand. Okay, Mr. Rawlings himself is there about to speak. Let's listen to it.
Fellow comrades, on your behalf, I would like to on your behalf, invite Mr. Martin Amidou to exercise the privilege and the honor of lighting this year's flame. I hope he's here with us. Lighting of the perpetual flame by Honorable Martin Amidou. The perpetual flame bearers remain young comrade Odaya Mishadai and young comrade Simon Ampedu.
Red, red, shake! Stand, at ease!
Honorable Martin Amidou, having done with lighting the perpetual flame in solemn remembrance of gallant men and women who fell in the process. Thank you, Honorable Martin Amidou. In the midst of the solemnity, we would like to invite the Ghana Dance Ensemble to give us a few steps in tandem with drum beats. Ghana Dance Ensemble.
So what you're watching on your screens right now, and of course listening on of course Joy 99.7 FM, the Ghana Dance Ensemble, they're doing some traditional performances there before former President Rawlings and a host of dignitaries, including Mr. Gusitano, I've seen, and a few of the other cadets who are seated there. And a short while ago, we saw Martin Abike Amidou, the former Attorney General, who has been in a thorn in the flesh of the NDC, the whole of the last 4 years, in fact. I mean, lighting the eternal flame there to signify the official commencement of this whole process that we are seeing unfold on our screens right now. The highlight of all this, it will be the speech to be delivered by former President Rawlings himself. And if you're just joining us, this is a Newsfile special. This is the year in review edition of Newsfile. Earlier, we saw Nilaya Fotiagbo on behalf of the people of Ghana. He's the Greater Accra Regional Minister, laying a wreath on behalf of the people of Ghana. Naval Captain Asasi Jima laid a wreath on behalf of the security services, Fred Agbobli, on behalf of the cadres and corps, the cadres corps of Ghana also laid a wreath earlier. And we're seeing on our screens right now, the performance is just ended. So we're expecting the speeches to commence very shortly. As you can see there, I'm just trying to see if I can see any key NDC party executive in the midst of the people who are seated right now. And what we're doing is, this is how we begin our year in review. This is the final major news event of the year. You don't want to miss out on that. We'll be analyzing that with our panel of editors who will be joining us very shortly. I'll be introducing them right after we finished with the anniversary of the 31st December Revolution, of course, led by, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, who happens to be a former president. Let's listen in right now to some introductions being made, because we don't want to miss out on anything that's happening right now at the Flagstaff Square.
To give us some remarks, after which we shall again invite His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings to give us the highlight remarks of this special commemoration of the anniversary of the 31st December Revolution. Honorable Duzi Tano.
Mini view.
So this thing, what do you use it to record? We charge it.
Yeah.
His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, former President of the Republic of Ghana and the first President of the Republic of Ghana under the 1992 Constitution. Now, Ulama, Comrades Hudi Yaya, Afute Agbo Dana Bodape, Kwame Chicho Koko, and Chibesiako, and all dignitaries who are here today. Today is indeed a solemn occasion as we recall our friends and loved ones who died in the pursuit of social justice, a more equal, a more transparent society founded on accountability, probity, and that the anxieties of the ordinary man, the common man, should be at the forefront of national politics, national debates, and national progress. There isn't too much that we can add at this occasion, but only to say that our generation, which bore the brunt of the crises from the 60s and 70s, indeed found renewal in the promise of 31st December 1982. And that promise still lives with us. It's still valid, and the values that it inspired are indeed truly timeless. If we are to go forward as a nation dedicated to resolving the problems that confront our development, resolving the problems that challenge the legitimacy of our political institutions, that challenge the legitimacy of our political culture, then we must begin to renew and rejuvenate the values that have brought us this far. Those values are underpinned in the 1992 Constitution, which has seen 3 successive peaceful transfers of power. Because indeed, that Constitution itself is a gift of struggle. Through the ages, through the 1982 revolution. There is much to be proud of. And there is much to be sorry for. We have seen in the last few years the predominance of money politics, lies, fabrication, as the new that proved unsustainable. I believe that money politics from 2000, 2008, 2016 have been proved unsustainable. We must return to the values that brought us here. The values that basically account for our being here today. The common man, the ordinary man, must have a voice. And that voice must be the source of development of this country. That the teeming youth who today find themselves in despair because they are unemployed or living at home after collecting as many degrees as you can imagine. The heads of households who suffer daily in fright about how they're going to meet the needs of their children, their wives, and their family, because incomes are so low, because economic insecurity is so rife. We can overcome these things. That is the promise of 31st December. Through organization, through clarity of purpose, clarity of policy, and the mobilization of the popular forces. Because without organization, without mobilization, it is impossible to achieve and overcome the hurdles that we face as a developing country. But there is hope. There is no need to despair. JFK once said that victory has 1,000 fathers and defeat is an orphan. Let me tell you today that the defeat of 7th December is our own. It is not an orphan. It is ours. And we will benefit from learning from the lessons that it shows and profit by them, so that in the march ahead, not only in 2020, not only in 2024, we can give of ourselves, sacrifice, build this nation with our bare hands, with our intellect, and ensure that the values that we celebrate today find life, find meaning, and flower in our midst as a country. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Guzi Tano, and his inspirational message that will carry us in our struggle for a better Ghana. Yes, we will now receive the much-awaited message from His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings.
Sit down, please. Thank you very much. If I'd known Guzi was going to be invited to speak, I wouldn't be following to waste your time. Shimo Masmo Mabi Aga Macheva money if I will not go you. Yeah, mom. Hello. I see. What about those on the stage? Anybody wants to share some thoughts? 1 minute, 2 minutes? And over here? Hello. Namo. Kama boom. Mr. Martin Amidu. Again, you name more? No, I see. Okay. Nime, Name. Ministers of State, religious leaders, Willowme, comrades, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. 35 years ago, I vividly remember the dark hours of our nation that we sought to redeem collectively as a people. 31st December 1981 revolution was 18 months after an uprising that awakened the consciousness of the Ghanaian people. The honesty and vigor of our action was met with the support and understanding of a vast majority of Ghanaians who saw it as an opportunity to restore the dignity of the ordinary man. The fallen heroes we honor today expect of us, at the very least, never to relapse into those same old days. But ladies and gentlemen, that has not been the case. In the wake of the revolution, we made pronouncements that summed up the state of affairs that prevailed at that time. I did admonish back then that Ghana should be a land where it will be accepted practice and norm that those who earn the privilege to govern should administer in humility, conscious that they are the servants of the people and are ready to submit themselves and their actions to public scrutiny and accountability. Most people are yet to recover from the traumatic shock of the December 7th elections. But I will have to state that if we turn our backs to our history as a party, we cannot escape the responsibility for the result. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat their mistakes over and over again. Need I remind you that the NDC was built on principles and values that emerged as a result of circumstances that led to our birth? The NDC's painful and massive rejection at the polls is indicative that we have lost the moral high ground that sets us apart from most others. Great lengths were taken to draw the attention of the party as a collective, but none of it will be tolerated or accommodated. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost the elections way before December 7th. We persistently and unrepentantly stayed on the slippery slope to the humiliating defeat despite the several warning lights right in our faces. My honest wish was for corrective measures to be taken to avert this electoral disaster. If I did not, ladies and gentlemen, understand the dynamics of human nature and behavior, we would not have attempted 15th May in 1979. If I did not degrade what was intended on that 15th May, June 4th would not have happened, and the eruption that took place on June 4th is what would have happened on the 15th of May. Ladies and gentlemen, if I did not understand the dynamics of human nature and behavior, there would not have been the need for a return on 31st December 1981 and to successfully lead a revolution for 10 years. If I did not understand the dynamics of human nature, I would not have gone into multi-party democracy and won 2 free and fair elections. Ladies and gentlemen, if I did not understand the role and effects of injustice and corruption in the dynamics of human nature, we could not have won back the seat of government in 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, in spite of this history and performance, some handlers and manipulators who have profited from the past two governments want to promote a lie about the reasons for our failure in order to perpetuate their hold on the NDC party. I don't think I was the only one who saw the writing on the wall. Many of us, from our own very own party, I believe, could see the writing on the wall that we were going to lose this past election. It was obvious a long time ago that we wouldn't make it. Our general negativity, impunity, disrespect, and corruption was taking us further and further downhill. About the time when most were living in the painful reality with stress and anger, that's when some of us chose to be more impervious to reality. We had lost so much goodwill. I kept providing the warning whenever and wherever I could, and in public as well. But no, once again, the uncouth and uncultured in our party and government chose to insult and to disrespect some of us. The genuine and true founders and elders, warriors, and youthful fighters of what has transformed into the NDC were being disregarded and disrespected way back from after the victory of 2008. When that victory was virtually delivered on a silver platter. With the passage of time, on a silver platter from us, to ourselves, not from them. We put up a hard fight. Ladies and gentlemen, with the passage of time, a few too many selfish and greedy characters soon began to jump on board. There were some good people, very good people. But leadership and the command structure did not empower them to override those who were in the party and worked with good people all my life. I have worked with bad people all my life, some wicked, some with character defects. But evil-natured people must be kept away. Some of us, however, do not seem to have the cognitive intelligence to recognize the presence of evil-natured ones. The eyes and the nose to smell them. Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, we were feeling smug and comfortable because we thought the hidden division in the main opposition's leadership was going to work so well in our favor. How very wrong could we be? How could we, for 1 minute, have made the mistake of thinking that disloyalty at the senior leadership level of the NPP was going to percolate into the grassroots of the NPP? It was not going to, and it did not. How could we have made the mistake of not recognizing that they couldn't break the sense of purpose and unity at the grassroots level just because of what was going on up there? Ladies and gentlemen, God's given direction for leadership are the principles of integrity, probity, and accountability. These principles are embedded in the collective conscience of the grassroots. There was a very gaping gap between and disconnect between leadership and the masses as the latter was left disillusioned. To make matters worse, the ordinary man felt even more insulted by the crass display of wealth by people who should have known better. If the masses knew about some of the detrimental effects of the greed and avarice perpetuated by some of our own, they would never forgive us. The examples abound around us. Ladies and gentlemen, if we all don't do some careful introspection and openly show remorse for the betrayal of the people's trust, we might not recover in time for the next election. The oppressive machinery will not desert us voluntarily. We need not shrink from honestly facing the conditions in our party and country today. This is the time to preeminently speak the whole truth, frankly and courageously. But rather than facing the obvious truth about why we lost, Rawlings once again has to be made the scapegoat of their failures. I believe this time around, our people have seen through it, and we would embark on the right steps to regain our moral high ground. The moral high ground that we abandoned and on which the new leader is now standing. Think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me assert my firm belief, though, that the intrinsic ability of the NDC to rejuvenate and recapture the moral high ground is also in no doubt. But it lies with a silent majority who would have to rise up and activate processes that will cleanse us. Ladies and gentlemen, we owe it as a duty to restore and protect the legacy that we fought for from the beginning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. May God bless you, and a Happy New Year to all of us.
That was the much expected message, the highlights of the solemn parade and wreath-laying ceremony of the 35th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution.